just before the video starts, make sure you go and check out my website, ystech.org. This is the place where you're going to be finding the latest news and everything great in technology, from reviews to tutorials and much more. So make sure you go check it out in the description, ystech.org. I'll see you there. More than a year ago, my Logitech G305 suddenly decided to die. Its left click became sensitive and wasn't working properly. I had become so accustomed to the G305, I had to find an upgrade that would feel similar and would be pretty good quality. Luckily, I stumbled upon Rocket Jump Ninja, and I found that one of his best recommendations for a budget mouse was the Logitech G305. I thought, what have I got to lose? It apparently has a good sensor, is lightweight, and its wireless capacity could last a few months. Most importantly, it was $60 on eBay. I gladly purchased one and did an unboxing on it. You can check it out on the channel and in the link in the description. So aside from my first impressions, in the last year, how did it hold up and how did it perform? I'm not a mice reviewer, so I'll only be giving my personal opinions and experiences in this video. Again, if you want proper reviews and recommendations on mice, check out Rocket Jump Ninja, as he has some of the best mice reviews that you can find on the internet. The intention of this video is to put my own thoughts and experiences about using the Logitech G305 in the last year. Let's start off with the outside shell of the mouse, or the housing. I use this mouse every day for usually about 8 hours. As you can see, the mouse is held up alright, with what I'd call moderate damage from use. On the back of the removable shell, the logo is starting to fade, which I personally prefer, but it's also a sign of a lot of use and also some cheaper quality plastic. It has also started to smooth out and become shiny, which is typical of this type of plastic. Now, I'm not too sure what type of plastic this is, but I'll put it up on screen if I find out. My guesses are probably ABS. This happens, I think, when the oils from your hand rub against the plastic, so the friction causes it to smooth out. It's a bit annoying, but it is inevitable with a full plastic mouse like this. I have seen people being able to 3D print new back shells to make the mouse a lot lighter, which I could do. You could also do this for the whole mouse and take it apart. Inside the mouse, it is holding up pretty well, and it's easy to click on the shell back in place. The only problem I find is when you're using a AAA to AA battery adapter. It just doesn't click in properly and takes a little bit of extra force to push in, but I don't think that is the mouse problem. It's actually a problem with my adapter. However, it's also something to keep in mind, as a lot of people like this mouse because of how light it is. On the top front paddles of the mouse, where the clickers are, it has held up very poorly. I know this mouse is cheap, but come on. The left click began to have paint flake off it. I've only used this mouse for 1 year, and all I've done is just used it every day. For paint to flake off it like this is a bit ridiculous. The paint flaking off it has actually left a physical mark on the mouse. It's a little bit uncomfortable to use, and you can actually feel it like a texture on the mouse. The left and right clicker or paddle are both shiny, which is expected. The bottom front of the mouse and underside are both fine, with no damage from use at all. The mouse feet are holding up quite nicely, but this is considering that I only used the mouse on a mouse pad. The mouse feet have remained easy to glide, showing a few scratches, but are overall in good condition. This is also considering I clean the mouse pretty often, so about every 2 weeks I just get a wet wipe and just wet the mouse and dry it off with a microfiber cloth. So this keeps the mouse feet nice and clean. The mouse feet are also glued on so well, even 1 year, them not falling off. On my G305, unfortunately, they started to fall off at about the 1 year mark, so I had to re-glue them on. But I've not found this problem on the G305. I'll cover the scroll wheel now, in terms of its physical condition. The scroll wheel is great, However, it picks up a lot of dirt easily in the grooves, and it's not easy to clean out. This is because the grooves allow dirt to go inside the crevices and are really hard to clean out. However, the scroll wheel is holding up much better than my experience with my previous smooth scroll wheels. This one is actually not degraded in quality at all, hasn't become shiny, and the rubber has stayed on there permanently. Like on my previous G303, from what I can remember, the scroll wheel started to become a little bit flat, the rubber started to flake off, you could see it, and it started to become very smooth. Now to the switches on the mouse. Clickers, or some people like to call them buttons as well. The on and off switch is quite good and is easy to move. It also has a texture on it, so it's easy to find out without turning the mouse around and slide on or off. The side buttons on the mouse feel really good. They give a satisfying click with a need of moderate amount of force in order to press. They are just right for me. When resting my thumb besides them, it won't activate the button. I can also activate these buttons only if I want to press it. You'll see what I mean in the B-roll on screen. The DPI selector is as usual, however is a bit lighter to press. This could be due to my grip, but sometimes I find that I'm unintentionally pressing the DPI button, which is a bit annoying. Then again, this could also be a problem that only I am experiencing just because of the way I use a mouse. The DPI button also has a nice LED to show you what DPI you're using by using a color LED indicator. So if you're using your lowest one, it could be blue. If you're using the higher one, it could be an orange. Be in orange or red. The middle mouse button or by the scroll wheel is a bit hard for me to press, and I would much prefer if it had a bit more travel distance because it's super awkward for me to press it. Now to the left and right paddle buttons. These are amazing to click and are nice and light enough for me to click. The click is as satisfying. As usual, the left and right click have a slightly different noise. Here with the left one being less stiff than the right one. Overall, a great experience. The Logitech software was alright. I preferred the old Logitech gaming software to the more updated one that Logitech makes you download. The reason is that I find the new software is a bit more temperamental in setting the DPI on the mouse and when switching computers. It would sometimes overwrite the stored settings on my mouse, which is quite irritating sometimes. This is something that I've never experienced on the old Logitech gaming software when using my G303. Lastly, the tracking of the mouse or the sensor. This mouse has a Hero optical sensor, and I've never had any issues with it, to be honest, as I don't play games professionally or any games a lot anymore. It's hard for me to tell the difference between this mouse and the Logitech G303 from before in terms of its tracking. This is not to take away from the Logitech G305 actually having a better sensor. It's just that I am not an expert. In Valorant, I've had a wonderful experience with fast turns and flicks. In GTA 5, it was great to use this mouse for panning with the camera. My only gripe is when I played League of Legends. The Logitech G305 is a bit more tiring than using the Logitech G303. This is because the G303 has a lighter right click than the G305, but this is something I could just change in the game settings by swapping the left and right buttons. The only real difference that I felt at least meaningful was the fact that the Logitech G305 would not snag or catch on anything because it's wireless. I either have Panasonic white AnyLoop, rechargeable AAA with an adapter, or AA in the mouse. I have only needed to replace the batteries about once every 2 months or so when used very heavily. This was great in my experience, as the mouse also shows when it's about to die. My only complaint about the wireless in the mouse is that it would begin to lag or double click on items on the screen unintentionally when the battery was low. This was a bit inconvenient considering that I wanted to work the mouse until I could replace the battery, not until it was showing the dying indicator, but this is a little bit of a flaw that was overlooked by Logitech. In the end, it doesn't really matter too much in the whole grand scheme of things. In the end, the Logitech G305 has been an awesome experience as my daily driver. Again, this cheap plastic on the mouse housing is not doing very well, and my left paddle click actually has paint chipping off from the use. So, if you want a cheap mouse with an awesome sensor, then the Logitech G305 is for you. Just don't expect the physical housing of the mouse to hold up very well, as the plastic wears off easily. So, that about sums up the video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you go and check out ystech.org for the latest in unboxing and technology content. I'll see you guys there at ystech.org. But other than that, I hope you have an awesome day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.